Welcome everybody to the Champion Genetics pregame show presented by my friends at Two Bulls Performance Supplements. First things first, guys, Champion Genetics, the leader in reproduction, semen collection, IVF, fertilization. If you guys are looking to do some reproductive work this spring, Champion Genetics is the only place that I would be taking my prized animals. Two Bulls Performance Supplements, the best supplements on the market. Every day, the Bulls that are going to be competing in the playoff series event number 3 in Fort Scott, Kansas, this Saturday, March 21st, are on Two Bulls Black Label, Two Bulls Pro Breeder, and the dial. They will be on Dialed In when they get on the truck to head to Fort Scott. So I feed it every day. If you guys don't, you're missing out. There's 9 total Bulls entered this week, a $5,400 purse. First place paying $2,500 plus a trophy custom silver buckle by Kelly Slover. Second place is going to pay $1,700 and third place is going to pay $1,200. 3 monies, 9 Bulls. One thing that I think is really cool through 2 events of the playoff series, there's been 2 different event winners, and we've paid 7 different money-winning Bulls. The first event paid 3 holes. The second event paid 4 holes. And I just think that's really cool that 7 different Bulls have won a check in the playoff series to this point. Before we get into it, the meat and potatoes of the pregame show. If you haven't already yet, you need to make the switch to ag gear. Just like this, I'm wearing, I tipped a few Bulls today. See the polka dots there. Use code RAFTERKL at checkout and you'll save 20%. Guys, this is probably, just as far as the color goes, if I'm just being honest, probably my least favorite of them. And that's kind of why I turned it into a work shirt. But by far my favorite. They have air ventilation up the sleeves, down the back, especially with the weather turning hot. They're bar none the best. The material, I love them. Use code RAFTERKL at checkout. You can save 20%. Brunt work boots. I just got my first pair of Brunt work boots shipped to me. I've wore them for half a day. And so far, super comfortable, not even really broke in. Check them out, Brunt Workwear. Outlaw gloves. I tell you, I wear gloves every day doing my chores and whatnot. And the store-bought gloves just, I go through them extremely fast. The Outlaw gloves I've been wearing for a month, 6 weeks now, every day, and they've been phenomenal. No holes, no tears. I love them. Oh yeah, how could I forget? The Bullseye Fraternity registration is open. It's the same as it was at Playoff Series event number 2. You pick a bull, you pick a target score. The closest person to the target score, to their official score, is going to win a Rafter KL merch box. I'm pretty excited about that. The fantasy deal is extremely fun. You guys, it's an interactive way to follow along, pay attention to the playoff series, watching the pregame show, the nuts and the bolts of the Bulls' current situation that they're in right now, leading up to playoff series event number 3. Bullseye Fraternity style, playoff series event 3, fantasy games registration is open now. Okay, now let's get into it. These are going to be the Bulls, the 9 Bulls competing at playoff series event number 3 this Saturday in Fort Scott, Kansas. Starting us off, 24-11 Midnight Chemtrails, owned by RCR, the number 5 pick in the 2025 Bucking Bull Draft. And here's the deal. That was the winner of playoff series event number 1, 90.40 points. And I thought I had him figured out. I had bucked him at the house prior to that. Figured he took a little flank. He wins playoff series event 1, and now we went backwards. Sometimes these Bulls, they get to where sometimes they take flank, then they don't take flank, and you just got to constantly be willing to read your animal and figure that out. And we went to 2 events with Midnight Chemtrails, including playoff series event 2. Not good. I went to a little open fraternity in Glen Rose, Texas. He was bucking really, really hard, but didn't find a spot there towards the very end of the 4 seconds. But in terms of a fraternity competition, not good. And then I went, took some bulls to a friend of mine, Tyler Johnston's, here about an hour and a half away. And I backed off the flank a little bit there on 24-11, and I really liked what I saw. Tons of intensity in the gate to the right. Of course, Midnight Chemtrails, if you're playing the fantasy games, always a solid pick. If you see me looking down, I've got my paper, my notes, so I don't get lost. 2415 Junkhead, owned by JAKL Investments. Jeremiah and Lacey Desimo from Louisiana. Little Bob Tomlin there for you. And 91.3 to win playoff series event number 2. And I haven't done anything with him. He's been still on a diet, still by himself, and we're kind of trying to follow the same steps that we did when we got that big time score out of him there in Ada back in February. So he still leads the playoff series standings. He was a champion, and I'm expecting big things from Junkhead. 3M, owned by Premier Livestock, the number 1 overall pick in 2025's Bucking Bull Draft. Oh, he freaking makes me scratch my head. You know, like, he was 90.3, win second at the first playoff series event, and then it was like he went through the motions. He went to the open event in Glen Rose. Same story. Turning the gate, 85 points, and I thought the only thing I haven't done with that bull is separate him, put him on a diet, control what he's eating. I didn't really even think he was that fat. He might have been just a tick heavy, a little bit too much mass. That bull's body style is just muscle on muscle. So since Glen Rose, which would have been like the end of February, I've had him up in a single pen by himself, of course, on the Two Bulls Black Label and the Pro Breeder Mineral. And I'm hoping that controlling a little bit of that is going to put us more towards the 90-point score again. 400 Gravy Biscuit, owned by Crooked Creek Bucking Bulls, Rick and Cheryl Price out in North Carolina. I really think that bull's on the verge of being 90. He was 89.6 at playoff series event 1 to pick up a third place finish. And he just, playoff series 2, he just bobbled. I really think he turned right there. He went on the road trip when I went to Tyler's a week or two ago, and I really liked what I saw. I thought he was trying hard, his intensity levels there, and it's just a matter of time until the Gravy Biscuit puts it all together. KL 401. I know that this bull, prior to his preview trip at the Bucking Bull Draft, was projected number 1. I don't know that he has a 91-point trip in him, but what I can say is this: that bull's stock is rising. I think to everybody in the bull draft, everyone that's following along with the fantasy, and mine as well. That bull was 88. He got to where he turned the gate and then he'd level off a little bit, and he's finishing a lot stronger. His last 3 outs, I think that bull's been gaining some ground. And could potentially be, he picked up a third place finish at playoff series event number 2. But I think you better watch 401. A couple bulls ahead of him, a Midnight Chemtrails, a Junkhead, the 2 event winners to this point. They stubbed their toe. 401's going to be there. CS43, owned by Herndon Bucking Bulls, the number 4 pick in the 2025 Bucking Bull Draft. You guys, if you watch the pregame show prior to event series or playoff series event 2, that bull comes straight from came from North Carolina, got off the truck at my house, got back on the truck, and we went to Ada. Didn't know when he was bucked last, and there was a lot of variables that I just didn't know. And I bucked that bull, and I really, really liked what I saw as far as his tools and his talent. Was far from putting it together. I bucked him here at the house. Phenomenal. He was north of 90. Easy. I took him to Tyler Johnston's house, and he did fire them back feet off and hit the back of the bucking chutes, and it pushed him out there so hard he kind of stumbled on the front end, had to get up and then come left. And again, that bull just doesn't have any experience. I think when that bull gets the experience on the road, better look out. TBR JX Bucking Bulls waiver wire. This is a bull that's on the borderline of being 90, 89.5, 89.6, 89.25. He's right there, and he's due for an event win, and I do think it's coming for those guys. He was the number 14 pick. I think that's what's also cool about this story. And he did go to Glen Rose as well back in February, and he won the open class there. Was 89 and some change, I believe, somewhere 80, high 88s, low 89, somewhere in there. And, that bull is dialed in, solid, doing it, gets up off the ground. Waiver wire is definitely a bull that could throw a little bit of a wrench in this deal. He won a check at playoff series event number 2. I would like to add to that, climb the standings, the playoff standings. Lostro 45, Smoky Oak Farms, JP and Hannah Williams. He is what he is. Prior to Playoff Series Event 2, he had kind of ducked and dived and win a couple jumps, a couple trips there. But he did go to Glen Rose, Texas as well. And what I used Glen Rose for was it was nothing to do with the league. It was nothing to do with the ABBI. It was just an open event. And I wanted to take some bulls there that just were bobbling, that needed a trip. Some stuff I was trying to work on, some things away from my house. And they didn't like 45 very well there for whatever reason, but I thought he was great in the gate, doing what we've always expected of 45, extending those back feet. He was intense, and the only thing I can think of is he's just a little bit small. But outside of that, I was really pleased with how he handled the trip to Glen Rose, another trip on the road, another event setting, and we take him to Fort Scott this week. I think he's right there. That's a bull that hasn't got a check yet in the playoff series, and I think he's due, and he's moving in the right direction. 5M Chili Party, Gray Acres. This is a bull that he doesn't need any experience. He's going to do it every time. He's going to be 88 to 89 every single time the gate opens. And as a matter of fact, I took him to Glen Rose, entered him in the limited fraternity as well as the bullseye fraternity, and he won the bullseye fraternity. Our target score was 88.2, and he was 88 points even. Also picked up a check in the limited class as well. So he's doing his deal. He surprisingly enough, if you would have asked 2 events in, would Chili Party be at $0 in the league earnings, I would tell you no. There's no way. And unfortunately he is, but I think Fort Scott could be his time. So those are the 9 bulls that will be competing at Playoff Series Event 3 to try to claim the title in Texas. Add some money to their current playoff standings total, and that's how we're keeping the Playoff Series standings, is by money won throughout the regular season in 2026. Now, I do want to point out a couple things with only 9 bulls. I thought it would be interesting to go over the bulls that are eligible for the Playoff Series events that are not competing. 402, owned by Herndon Bucking Bulls, the number 15 pick in the Bucking Bull draft last year. Same deal with 43. When he come from North Carolina, we took him, and he did turn right there and kind of hit his head, went down the buck and shoots, and he just never could get free. And I bucked him here at the house, and it didn't go very good. I will say this, that bull is a monster, has a major hair trigger, a little bit schizo, kind of holds his head a little sideways, like maybe has a screw loose is what I'm trying to say. And I just ain't quite got him dialed in and calmed down enough, even here at the house, to feel comfortable telling Herndon Bucking Bulls to, put your money on him, let's go to town. So he's going to sit out this event. Lostro 420, Crooked Creek Bucking Bulls. He did compete Playoff Series Event 1 and 2. And it just, like, when you go to town, it just blows that bull's mind. I don't know. I would bet you $1,000 if I bucked him here. If I buck him right now, tonight, in the dark, he's going to turn in the gate to the right at my house. And you take him somewhere, he's not going right in the gate. I would almost bet you $1,000 that will not happen as well. So just going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to take him away from the house. I took him to Tyler's, and he shot way out there and went left. Again, he's not going right on the road to this point. But it is March. It's still early. I'm giving that bull some time. I think he's got the tools and the talent. Just, he's not ready. High 402, owned by the Draft Syndicate. Kind of the same story as 420 there. That bull leaps off the ground and cracks, and he's going to go about 1.5, 2 jumps at my house and turn left. And I took him to Tyler's, and he was way out there. And the bull's in a mental spot right now. I just need to get him over that hump. But again, a good enough reason for him to sit out at Playoff Series Event 3. Voss 041 from Gary and Garen Scarborough. I'm going to tell you the rest of the field dodged one here. Gary and Garen had put their schedule together, and it just didn't fit to go to Fort Scott, Kansas this weekend. But that bull was 89 and some change at the Claimable event, and then he was 88 and some change, and probably don't want to be that guy, but could have been 89 or 90 in the junior division at Abilene just this past week. That bull is bucking. And Gary and Garen have just decided to sit out. And I talking to Gary on the way home or walking to our pickups after the event concluded there in Abilene, and they're going to stay home until the American Heritage there in Fort Worth in May. So 041, they dodged him. High M31, also from Gary and Garen Scarborough. I haven't heard much of that bull. I seen him at Playoff Series Event 1, and it just didn't take town very well. I know Garen had told me that bull turned into a schizo. He was kind of having some problems mentally, and would be my guess why he's not competing here in Fort Scott. KL 408 from Stephen Lister and partners. That bull's not competed at one event yet. And matter of fact, I've got him turned out getting big for a guy. That bull leaps and kicks and gets way up in the air and has that wow factor. But he's going to go about 4 before he turns, and he's just not going to cut it for a competition bull with a dummy. He was the number 13 pick in the draft last year. Again, I think that bull's got all the tools. I do think you're going to hear about 408 in the future. I just don't think it's going to be with a dummy. So those are the bulls, the 16 bulls that are eligible for the league. There would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them not competing, and 9 of them will compete for the title and bragging rights in Fort Scott, Kansas. As far as the Champion Genetics pregame show presented by Two Bulls, we'll see you next time.